Hi there, hello there, welcome, whatever. I hope you're all okay. This is a tier listing video for support characters. It's the last. I think I've pretty much covered everything in Warhammer now. I'll do another video on like the predictive qualities of my rankings, and yeah, well, let's. Firstly, I'm just going to go through it, first thoughts, and then we'll get the rules out and then go through them one at a time. Anvil of Doom, pretty much A tier. There's a lot to get through. There's a lot of support heroes, so I'm going to try and be as brief as possible and try and keep this video down to about an hour. High Elf Archmage, A tier. Beastmaster, C, maybe D. Bray Shaman, S tier, definitely. Dragon Mage, E tier, too expensive. Empire Engineer, good. Dwarf Engineer, good. Elise Ducat, I really like her, A tier. That is a Firebelly. They're pretty rubbish. Goblin Shamans are also good. Grey Seers is definitely, they're okay, too expensive. Handmaidens do a role well, but that's it. Hobgoblins can't. I'm going to be controversial. I'm going to put them there because they're more or less just attacks. Because you've got to take one to get a unit of Hobgoblins for Chaos Dwarves, so you kind of got to take them. That's a Lich Priest. That was difficult. I think they're B tier. They do a job. They do it very well. They're not outstanding. Heralds. Herald of Slanesh. She's not great. That's the same as a Lich Priest, to be honest, but for vampire counts. In fact, no, that's better. That's Necromancer, because of the Sceptre of De Noiro, which means they can do the Tomb Kings call it Arise, they call it Invocation of Nehek, which is essentially resurrect models. That is a thing. That's a Necrotect. I think they're good overall. Knight, Goblin, Shaman, I think they're good. They're not as good as the Goblin one because they can't be put on a spider, and I think putting the Goblin Shaman on a spider is exquisite. Mainly because the model's cool, and it's just really nice having a mortar with a level 4 wizard. Herald of Nurgle. I know I've done some of these heralds. It depends how you kit them out, really. I think Herald of Nurgle probably B tier. It's probably better than Slanesh. Yeah. That's Ogdruz Swamp Digger, the special character from the Arcane Journal. I reckon. Where am I going to put him? He's not as good as a normal weird knob, I don't think. I think he's good, but that's about it. That's a hunter. I think hunters are okay. Skaven, Plague Priest, they're okay. They do a job. Warrior Priest of Sigmar is good. Ulrich, okay. Sigmar's prayers are better. That is a... What is that? Oh, that's an enchantress. Just general enchantress. I think they're good. Royal Herald, I think, is excellent. It's a special like battle standard bearer style character for Tomb Kings. I think you've got to take them because it allows you to reroll leadership checks and lots of stuff like your My Will Be Done ability, the Necrotex ability, the Arise ability relies on leadership checks, and this allows you to reroll leadership, which is fantastic. It also allows you to reroll leadership for everything, like including, and it's a really cheap little battle standard bearer model. So, and the model's actually pretty nice. That one there that I'm painting at the moment. Dwarf Rune Priest. I think on their own they're good. They've got some decent buffs. Skaven Warplock Engineer are. I want to make them good. I don't know why. Something in the back of my mind says they're good. Skink Priests are. They're very good. Slann are. Slann are a bit weird because they're kind of a bit of a must take. It's the only way of getting a level 4 wizard for Lizardmen, but they're not that good. they're difficult to place. I put them there. I think it's because you're forced to take them that makes them good relative to. but they're not good relative to other wizards. They're okay. They might even be trash. No, they're not trash. You've got to take one. Slaughtermaster, I really like these. They're very good for level 4 wizards. High Elf Sorceress with Black Dragon, S tier. Yeah, S tier. Sorcerer Lord, Chaos Sorcerer Lord, very, very good. Good in combat. Comes with a ward, can wear armor. Absolutely outstanding for level 4. That is Demon Smith. They're possibly S tier. Demon Smith. Is it Demon Smith? The Chaos Dwarf one. Sorcerer Prophet is what they're called, isn't it? This is a Wood Elf. They're pretty much exactly the same as the High Elf one. Where did I put them? Where did I put that? Did I make that A tier? I'm not sure I agree with that now I've done it. Banshees, S tier for what they do and how cheap they are. Hag Trolls, they're very good. Very, very good. They're kind of similar to Slaughtermasters, but oh, maybe they're even S tier. I don't know. We haven't seen them very much in lists, to be honest, so I'm a bit cautious about putting them S tier. But I instinctively, looking at the rules, they feel very good. What the heck is... Oh, that's a Tzeentch Herald. Arguably trash. That's a Waystalker. Was really good when you could... but it's okay. Orc Weird Knob, very good. Empire, no, just good. Empire Wizards, it depends what you do with them, but like, it's because they're so cheap, definitely very good because you can take loads of them. So that's my initial take. Let's reset the board and see how right my instincts are. Boom. Right, let's get some rules out. So we should do the books in the order that I have them open, and I haven't opened some of the books because I'm an idiot, so let's just open those last two quickly. In fact, we'll do this Arcane Journal one first, because then I can go through everything else, and by that time the other one will definitely have loaded. Right, so we've got Kicknick we did as a combat hero, Ogdruz. It's such a weird name. Anyway, he's all right. He's good, I think. The problem is he's a level 3 wizard, which is he's allowed to use troll magic, but only level 3. Now, the thing that makes Elise very good, despite the fact she's level 3, she's got some really unique abilities that make her arguably better than a level 4 wizard in terms of dispelling. And arguably better than a level 4 wizard in terms of what she does for your army. I'm going to massively sell Elise because I think she's great. This guy, however, like, what he does is he allows you to do the troll stuff if you're not going to take a troll horde, which is all right. But I'm not sure. One of the things I just need to check before I say that he's just okay is, does this troll law have now it's got some really good spells, like if you're taking, you can't take him in the nomadic horde because he's not got a mount, so he can't be taken, but you could take him, so you could give a unit flammable and regen, which is probably okay, depends what they're going up against, but that's until start of next turn, so it lasts a while. You can make people stupid, so the law's pretty good, but does that make Ogdruz himself good? Because you could always take a Troll Hag, who is arguably better and has access to, because he's got access to elementalism and troll magic, so he hasn't even got WoW magic, which is pretty important if you're going to be taking Orcs and Goblins. Troll Hag can take troll magic and battle magic, and battle magic is a really good spell lore. Troll magic is really good if you've got trolls, or not. Actually, there's some pretty good. What, that was just such a dumb thing to say, wasn't it? It's good or not, idiot. Yeah, I mean, we're not looking at the Troll Hag. We're looking at Ogdruz. I guess does he? So he's got light armor basically, and oh, pardon me, and he's got regen 5, but he's also flammable, which means he doesn't get his regen save against flammable attacks, which is, you know, not that much of an issue. Although there are a surprising number of attacks that end up being flammable, so he can't be targeted whilst within 3 inches of a friendly troll mob, because normally it's got to be like a similar unit. So, you know, infantry, cavalry, monstrous infantry, etc., etc. He gets +1 to cast because of unit strength 6 trolls, but that just basically makes him a level 4 wizard. He's nearly 200 points, which is relatively expensive for a level 3 wizard. And you know, he's not got anything. He's got a lore familiar, so he can pick his spells. I love the way that they've done that with some of these named characters. They're giving them just actual, like, magic artifacts. The problem, therefore, is, though, that you've got a lore familiar with Ogdruz, and that means that you can't have a lore familiar with your level 4 wizard if you wanted a level 4 as well. So he takes up your lore familiar allocation, which isn't great. So he's okay. I can't see him being taken that much. Where the heck have I put him? Ogdruz. He's the one with the little... He's okay, I think. So let's do the Troll Hag. The Troll Hag, I think, is fantastic. I'm not sure whether it's... It looks like it might be S tier, but I'm not sure. You can make it level 2, which is 270. I really should have done it as a combat character, really, because yeah, it can have 50 points of magic items, which isn't a lot, but it's enough, really, within the points, because you're up to like 300 points. You might want to give it some kind of familiar to give it like additional casting or like whatever. It basically functions like a giant. It is a behemoth, and it's got these attacks are fantastic. It's got -1 to hit because of slimy shanks, which is brilliant. And pardon me. Instead of attacking normally, a troll hag may choose to make a motherly love attack. It can make an additional troll vomit attack, which is strength 3 AP2. It's got lots of stuff going on. It is 6 wounds. Toughness 5 is a bit low for a behemoth, to be honest. But and it's just got a hand weapon. Sorry, I should have turned the mic off. People keep having a go at me for clearing my throat. I'm not grunting. I'm just clearing my throat. Regen 5. It's very, very good. It's got D6 stomps at strength 6, and because it's a behemoth, they're thunder stomps, so they're AP2 against everything other than behemoths. Stupidity is a problem. So you do kind of need to take it in a troll horde army because that can help. But still, stupidity only really means that you can't charge, so you can still cast spells. Is stupidity a problem, though? Because it's leadership 8, so you're going to be failing that like 1 turn out of 3. And if it's the first turn, pardon me, you've got problems. I don't know. It's got... Is stupid... The question is... It's also unbreakable as well. I didn't spot that the first time I looked at that. That's really interesting. So like when you get it into combat, it's great. It's just getting it there might be a problem. I don't know. Now I've had a look at it, I think maybe it's somewhere in between these two, isn't it? It's probably bottom of A tier and top of B tier, if I'm being honest, because it's got stupidity is a significant enough drawback, especially given its relatively low leadership, that you're going to fail that a number of occasions, so it's not reliable. Like in general play, it's probably A tier. From tournament perspective, it's probably B tier because of that unreliability. That said, is there one of these that you can give it that stop it being stupid? No. Oh, and the Hag's Brew. Yeah, I forgot about that. So, I mean, this is another reason why Ogdruz isn't that good, because you can just take this and then, you know, you can take Troll Magic for any wizard. So, you know, he's not that. Yeah. Yeah, he's not great. I mean, you can't take that and the Law Familiar, because neither of those are common. But, yeah. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that particular rating. Yeah, yeah. Tomb Kings. Actually, I don't need to open the Tomb Kings one because there's no support characters in the. Oh well, I guess there's the weird Master Necrotect that's a bit trashy, to be honest. Okay, right. Let's go through Skaven. So we've got two characters for Skaven. We've got the Plague Priest, and we've got the Grey Seer. They're both support characters. Support characters, like just in general, essentially describing stuff like wizards, engineers, that kind of supporting role. Like their primary objective isn't to get in there and smash stuff. Their primary objective is to like support the army basically and buff stuff up and do other jobs, and then maybe if they're good in combat, come in later. But combat isn't their like primary role. Like for instance, an assassin is a combat character. Combat is all it does. It doesn't have any other effects. So sometimes there will be characters that feel a bit combaty, but because they offer buffs and stuff that you know you want to keep them alive because you want their buffs. You want their buffs more than you want them in combat, if that makes sense. So that's kind of where I'm going with this. Okay. Oh no, Warlock Engineer as well. Yeah, yeah. So we've got Grace here, Warlock Engineer, and the Plague Priest to have a chat about. So the first thing I'm going to look at is the Grey Seer. Now, I think the Grey Seer is too expensive. 185 points for a level 3 wizard. Level 4 makes it 215. That's already quite expensive for that stat line. Leadership 7 is good with Skaven because it's got a warband, so that can translate to Leadership 10. However, you can get that relatively cheaply with the Warlord anyway, in terms of like trying to get up to Leadership 10 within Skaven. It's got access to Law of the Horned Rat. There are where the hell's it gone? There is one good spell in there, I think. Cloud of Corruption is great. It's a magical vortex. It's very short range. However, whilst within 3 inches of one or more of these templates, enemy units suffer -1 to their toughness characteristic, which is brilliant. It's a pity they don't stack, but you're probably not going to have multiple Grey Seers in an army, to be honest. This conveyance, Skitterleap, is very confusing, and I've seen lots of people get this kind of conveyance wrong. Basically, a lot of people do it, they cast it on themselves. Now, you can't cast conveyance spells when you're in combat. So a lot of people cast it on themselves to get like the character that's in combat out of combat. You can't do that. You've got to cast it with somebody who's not in combat on them, because you can't cast a conveyance when you're in combat. So I've seen that get quite confused. Warp Lightning's okay, but you know, it casts on a 10 and it basically does 3 strength 5 hits at AP 3. It's pretty rubbish. It's okay, like if you're desperate for a magic missile. But Cloud of Corruption is pretty good. It's just short range, which is a real problem. You know, if that was 18-inch range, that would be excellent, and would make Grey Seers probably worth the points. But realistically, like I don't. It's very difficult. You need to take one because you need a level 4 wizard, right? But like, it's got D3 Warpstone tokens, which are okay. So basically, they get you to reroll. Not reroll. You add a D3 to a casting roll for each token. If you roll a 1, however, then you take a wound. Now, again, I've seen this get a bit confused when it says, you know, if you roll a natural 1, then I don't know why they put that wording in. I don't know why they can't sort this out. When they say roll a d3 and if you get a 1, then you know X happens. They need to like clarify. I think at the point the rule is, I will show you now. It's important to look at, because the question is, if you roll a d3, there's no such thing as a three-sided dice. So you have to roll a d6. If you get a 1 or a 2, that's counted as a 1. If you get a 3 or 4, it's counted as a 2. And if you get a 5 or 6, it's counted as a 3. I think everybody watching this knows that, so I don't know why you need to explain it. The problem is, if there's like a negative impact of rolling a natural 1, does that mean a 1, or does it mean a 1 and a 2? There's a lot of that in AOS as well. In the new version I've seen, which is a bit confusing. So I think we just need to look at what D3. To roll a D3, simply roll a D6 and halve the result, rounding factions up. So to my mind, a natural 1 on a D3 would be a 1 and a 2. Please tell me... Please tell me if you know anywhere else that says what a natural 1 is on a D3. Because to me, it's a 1 or a 2. Because the term natural roll describes the actual number shown once the dice has been rolled. An actual three-sided dice is not necessary. To roll a d3, simply roll a d6 and half the result, rounding fractions up. However, you could hypothetically, you get those little globe dice which has got like a little weight in it, and so you can actually get like spherical three-sided dice where you get a result from 1 to 3. You can also buy six-sided dice that have 1, 2, 3 written twice on it. So, you know, to me, a natural 1 on a D3. Anyway, the point is relating to Warpstone tokens. They sound all right, but you might roll 3 of them, right? But for each one of them, you might roll 3 ones and just kill your Grey Seer for no advantage. You know, it's... I don't know. I think they're okay because you kind of got to take one, but like... You know, you can put them in a unit and give that unit magic resistance 1, but then again, the units that you've got for Skaven aren't that good, so that's not a massive advantage. I just think they're okay, because you've got to have them, but they're not very good overall. So, where did I put the bloody Grey Seer? It's going in okay when I find it. There's the Plague Priest. I can't find the Grey Seer. There's the thing. Where's the Grey Seer gone? Oh, God damn it. There he is. There he is. He goes in okay. He goes next to Ogdruz. Let's get him whipping him in the face with a tail. No, Ogdruz is better. Is he, though? No, he's not. I'm tempted to put Ogdruz in trash, actually. I don't know why you take him over any other... I really don't know. Like, no, I don't know why you take him, to be honest. Cool. So, that's the Grey Seer. Next, Warlock Engineer. 35 points, looks great for a wizard, however he's not a wizard yet. You've then got to spend a further 7, like every other faction seems to be able to upgrade your wizard level for about 30 or 35 points. 35 points is pretty normal. You know, why it costs 40 for your first level and then 30 for your anyway, it's 105 points for a level 2 wizard that is toughness 3, has 2 wounds. That's not very good at all. He gets D3 Warpstone tokens. I think they've massively overcosted the Warpstone tokens, to be honest. Because, yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe they think that D3 Warpstone tokens... The thing is, you can also buy them as like magic items as well. How much do they cost us? 15 points each. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. Like, you know... Because you'll just kill yourself. Like, what's the point? I don't get them really. I don't think they're very good. You can take a Warlock musket or a Warlock pistol, which are okay, but yeah, I don't know what it's got. Lore of the drowned rat. Sorry, the horned rat. It feels like Lore of the drowned rat at the moment. Battle magic is a good lore. Elementalism is a good lore. Plague of Rust and Tower of Fire is they're both good spells. So yeah, no, it's pretty trash to be honest. why is everything in Skaven? I think the thing like Skaven, I'm really down on Skaven because I really like them and I want them to be good, and they've been written so badly. Like all their cool advantages that they used to have are just gone. Like, why can't we fire into combat still? Like that's one thing that Skaven used to be able to do, and that was pretty good. Like, you don't mind your rats dying if for every rat that dies you kill a bloody dragon knight, do you? I mean, do you know what I mean? Right, Plague Priest. Let's have a look at that one. Where is he? So 60 points. Again, he's not a wizard yet. It's 120 points for, granted, toughness 5, level 2 wizard, but again, only level 2. I mean, it's got -1 to hit in combat. I think he's okay. He's got a plague sensor and he's got 3 attacks, so he's not terrible in combat. Weapon skill 5, strength, well, essentially strength 6. He's got a flail basically that only has AP 1 though, rather than the AP 2 as usual. It does come with poison attacks, like -1 to hit, toughness 5. It's not bad for a wizard. 3 attacks, it's okay. And can also take demonology and dark magic, so it's a bit more interesting in terms of like the spells that you can get. Like demonology, for instance, has a lot of like self buff spells, so putting it in a unit could be pretty good. I mean it's okay. It's possibly it's just very expensive. 120 points for a level 2 wizard is quite costly, given that there's not really much that makes them any more competent at magic. So he's okay to good. He's definitely the bottom end of good if he is good. And I want to give Skaven a good character. Right, vampire counts. Now we get on to some really, really interesting stuff. I forgot about... Ken Wraith are combat characters, aren't they? Right, let's do the Banshee or the Necromancer. Right, so there's 2 levels of Necromancer. Whenever there's like 2 levels of Wizard, like you can just assume I'm talking about the level 3-4 version, rather than the sort of the lower level version. The lower level versions are the same thing, just not as good, basically. So you've got the Invocation of Nihek. I've seen this done so many times. It's the number of wounds equal to the character's level plus D3 if it's normal infantry. I was watching a battle report just this morning actually where they forgot to add the level of wizardry, which I thought was quite astounding. Level 4 means that you're adding 4 plus D3. There is this there's a magic item that you can take, which is the Sceptre of de Noiro, that allows you to do Invocation of Nehek twice every single turn. Khemri have this other thing that's called, I think it's the Canopic Jar, that does that once per game. So these are better than, because they can do it every single turn, they can do this twice. It's a leadership check, which means you do, well, you don't have to, but it's a good idea to keep the Battle Standard Bearer around the Necromancers, because the Battle Standard Bearer in the Undead has a different function. It doesn't allow you to reroll like panic and break checks like everybody else, because Undead don't panic or break. What they do mean is that friendly units may reroll any failed leadership test. In addition, lose less unstable stuff. The reroll failed leadership test is, I think, possibly a little broken, because a lot of their abilities rely on leadership checks, and I think that's possibly skewing the meta in favour of the Undead a little bit at the moment. The losing fewer models by D3 is pretty good in and of itself. So anyway, that's a bit of an aside. I think they're very good. I don't think they're not S tier. They can't change. I say they can't change a game. They sort of can within Vampire Counts, because Vampire Counts have heavy cavalry called Blood Knights, who are definitely S tier knights. And they can recover a number of wounds equal to this character's level of wizardry. So your Blood Knights that cost around about 40-50 points each, something like that, multiple attacks, lances, regen, full plate, 2-up save, all the benefits that you need. You can bring back 4 of them a turn. And if you've got the Sceptre of Noiro, you could bring back 8 of them a turn. So you can bring back like 400 or 500 points of model every single turn if you've got this chap with the Sceptre of Noiro near your Blood Knights. Absolutely insane. It's just that in and of itself is just absolutely fantastic. It doesn't matter if the undead unit that you're resurrecting stuff to is in combat or not. It just means that the necromancer has to be out of combat. So don't put him in combat, but so you can shut him down by getting his unit into combat, absolutely. However, just keep him out. You do have that. There's plenty of magic items that give you like the fly 8, fly 9, something like that. You got the magic carpet. Tomb Kings have one of their own, the cloak of dunes or something like that. I just wanted to check actually. Now I've said that. No, you can just give yourself ethereal, which again is not bad because it means that they can't be shot at by like mundane things. So you can kind of be a bit more adventurous in terms of the placement. But that's infantry only, so you can't put them on a. Yes. Interesting. There's the Sceptre. 35 points for that. Absolutely. Oh yeah, and you might lose a wound, but then if you do that and it's your second time, you could just lose a wound and then heal yourself because you're just about to do a healing thing. It's not that much of a downside really. Losing wounds on characters is not a massive problem for vampire counts because you can just re-knit yourself. So they are A tier wizards. And like 130 points to begin with, up to 160 for a level 4 wizard is actually quite cheap in and of itself. So they're pretty good. They're definitely A tier, maybe even S. I don't know. Wherever put him. Where's the little blighter? There he is. I've used Heinrich Kemmler. That's why I couldn't find him. There you go. That's a lovely sunset. Vampire counts. Where is it? There we go. Tomb Banshee. Now, 90 points for that stat line, Dan. Giving it like S tier, really? Yeah, because like 180 points, you get 2 of them. They've both got Wailing Dirges, so they just kind of sit behind your army. And then your opponent smashes into you, and then you make him take leadership checks. And if he fails his leadership checks with a natural -2 modifier, then he just suffers wounds. No saves. Just takes wounds. I think you're allowed wards against the Wailing Dirge, aren't you? I don't think you're allowed regen or is it ward saves? Yeah, you get wards, but you don't get regens. But like for 90 points, just to kill like 4 or 5 models that are in combat with your massive unbreakable block of skeletons every turn is invaluable. Like it's absolutely fantastic. And if Wailing Dirge was only on the Banshees, I'd be pretty happy with that. However, it's on lots of other stuff as well. But they're, definite S tier. Like, that ability on itself is just brilliant. Weirdly, you wouldn't want 3 of them because, you want to save some points for other characters. But 2 180 points, they will get their points back. Absolutely. Absolutely. So they're definite S tier. Actually, to be honest, this guy is almost certainly going to get his points back in terms of resurrecting things. So, I don't know. Maybe he's S tier too. Cool. So that's the vampire counts. They're pretty good. Let's get rid of them. Let's do Dark Elves next, and then we'll work our way through the core factions at the end. Save the possibly best till last. Dark Elves, really, we've got the sorceresses. I'd say the Beastmaster goes in there as well. I might put him in combat as well, but whatever. Death Hag is definitely a combat character. Absolutely. I've possibly underrated Death Hags based on conversations I've been having recently, but Beastmaster and Sorceresses. And I need to explain why I think the Beastmaster is a support character rather than a combat character. Sorceress, 150 points, 180 level 4 is pretty good. That's not massively expensive. Remember, the Grey Seer was 185 for a level 3, and do you see what I mean in terms of like points disparities and all the rest. It's got Hecate's Blessing, which means once a game, so it's not the same as the High Elf ability, which is I can't remember, somebody else's Azyundi's, whatever, somebody else's blessing, which is reroll once per turn. But Hecate's Blessing can reroll a failed casting roll once per game. It has been ruled that a miscast is not a failed casting roll, so it doesn't save you from miscasts, but still, getting off that really crucial spell that you need to get off is great. It does benefit from Murderous. It's one of the few things in this list that does, which means she gets to reroll ones to wound with her 2 attacks and no AP. That's going to make a massive difference, isn't it? She's got access to the Law of Nagaroth and actually 5 Laws of Magic, so she's pretty flexible in terms of what she gets. Law of Nagaroth has this kind of thing, which Black Horror could be really good, but it moves randomly. So it's the Mortar Blast. It's 18-inch range, so it's good range. Moves 2d6 in a random direction, which is quite far. And any enemy unit must immediately make d6 strength tests. For each test that's failed, the unit loses a single wound. So that could be really impactful against something like a dragon or an ogre. So, for instance, you might roll an ogre, a dragon, or a giant, because you might roll like 5 hits and they accidentally roll 2 6s, and like that's an auto fail. So they just take 2 wounds. And no saves, so at all, not even wards. So it's pretty good. That's okay as well, but it cancels off other hexes, so you can't load it. But still, -1 weapon skill and ballistic skill, or ballistic skill, is pretty useful. However, Black Horror, that's where the money is. You can also put her on a Black Dragon, which is just fantastic because it's like the Black Dragon's possibly the only dragon where you don't mind it not being in combat because its breath weapon is strength 4, no saves. So, which is just brilliant. So it's just, she's S tier, absolutely, without question. Like, she will get her points back, even if you put her on a Black Dragon. She's going to get her points back. So she's definitely worth taking. Also with Dark Elves is the High Beastmaster. Now, so why would you take a High Beastmaster as opposed to a Lord? What's the point of the High Beastmaster? So if you want to run a list that's full of like Hydras and Charybdis and other monstrous beasties, and you could put this thing on a Manticore, and you could take this with like a Supreme Sorceress on a Black Dragon, and then this thing you really want to get it into combat last because it can give D3 extra attacks to a single friendly model whose troop type is monster within command range. You make this general, put it on a Manticore, 18-inch command range. So you can basically goad any monster pretty much anywhere within like a big sort of 38, 39-inch bubble because, it's from the base, and the base has a size as well. The base's size is, I think this one, which is like 2 and a bit inches across. So it's a really big bubble, it's just very, very effective. D3 extra attacks to a Black Dragon is pretty significant. D3 extra attacks to a Charybdis, which is strength 7 AP 2 as well, is also quite effective. So these are very good at a specific job. It does force you to build your Dark Elf list in a certain manner, though. You could just take a standalone and just like buff up a dragon for 75 points. That's not terrible for D3 extra. Now, are those D3 extra attacks going to get their points back? Probably not over the course of a game, unless you kind of get lucky. But they're still very good. I think I'd probably put them probably B tier. They're good. They have a very specific role, but the downside is it does kind of make you want to like build your list in a certain way with Dark Elves, so you lose some flexibility and you lose access to possibly some of the better units because you're doing this. You're taking War Hydra as a Charybdis or special. You can then take some more monsters over here as well. So you know, it does kind of lean you down a certain route that's perhaps not fully optimized for the Dark Elf build. But you know, it's an interesting list. It's when I get around to doing Dark Elves, it's the one I want to do because I quite like the idea of having a triplet of Charybdis on the table. Because I think, yeah, cause I'd like the models, to be honest, more than anything. Cool. Let's talk about the Sorcerer Prophet. So we've got the Sorcerer Prophet and a Hobgoblin Khan I've put in here because the Hobgoblin Khan is more like a shooty character, really. Everything else is quite fighty. So the Sorcerer Prophet is like, he's expensive, but he's definitely worth it. Why? Well, because he's got black shard armor, so he can wear armor. So he's got a 5-up save there. He's 100 and or she, I guess it could be either. 225 points for a sorcerer with heavy armor. It's pretty good. They've got some great mount options. So you know, just basically on foot, it's good already. Great mount options make him very good, or her, sorry, and. You know, black shard. Oh, I forgot to turn off the mic again for clearing my throat. Sorry. Yeah, and they're more or less immune to miscasting because they can take a toughness test. So basically, it's more or less like rolling a 2-up because your toughness is 5, so you fail on a 6. You just take. Oh my god, I haven't read that properly. If the test is failed, it loses a single wound and gains +1 modifier to its toughness characteristic. If the test is passed, it rolls on the miscast table as normal. So it's not immune to miscast, but if it does roll a 6, it goes up to toughness 6. And if you've put that on like a Lamassu, you're already toughness 6 anyway, so you can go up to toughness 7 instead of Crazy. Really weird, cool rule. And also, it's an engineer, so there's lots of war machines in the Chaos Dwarf roster, so you can re-roll Scattered Dice on 2 dice. And because it's leadership 10, it can be the general, so you can put it on a mount with an 18-inch range, so 18-inch range engineer re-rolls. And then, of course, the Demon Smith Sorcerers also get that within like 9-inch bubble anyway, so they're really, really good. Yeah, they're really, really good because they're wizards and engineers. They fulfill 2 roles and do them both better than, I think... well, they're not better than dwarf engineers, and they're not better than empire engineers at being engineers, but still, wizards with... they're just S tier. Like, it's just, you know, absolutely no question, really. I'm putting everything in S tier at the moment, aren't I? Now, this one we're not going to. Because, so you have to take a Hobgoblin Khan in order to take some Hobgoblins. It's got the same rules pretty much as in fact, Hobgoblins I think are S tier light cavalry because they've got like fast cavalry, fire and flee, blah 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 blah, skirmishes, swift stride, all the rest. Now, if you put the Hobgoblin Khan in that unit, most of those abilities are it gets it from the Giant Wolf, of course, idiot. You're going to put it on a Giant Wolf, obviously, because then it gets fire and flee and swift stride and fast cavalry and all the rest. It's got all the rules. It's basically just an enhanced champion for your Hobgoblins. So it just makes the unit of Hobgoblins a little bit better, and can take magic items. You could like give your Hobgoblins a bit of magic resistance. So like skirmishers with a bit of magic res is, you know, quite could be quite useful. But realistically, it's just okay. It's something that you wouldn't buy this, right, if you didn't have to, right? You wouldn't take it if you didn't have to. You just have Hobgoblins, but you have to. So it's okay for that reason because it's kind of like a mandatory choice. But where is he? There he is. That's a very old special character. I think it was a Regiment of Renown, actually, wasn't it? I can't remember now. It's like their kind of Genghis Khan, but in goblin form. So that's the Chaos Dwarfs. Let's do the Lizardmen. Yeah, let's do Lizzies. So, Slime Made Priest, 285 points, automatically level 4. Very, very expensive for a level 4 wizard. Does have 5 wounds, does have toughness 4, which is okay. You can make it ethereal, which is pretty interesting. It's already got a 5-up ward, which is, you know, okay. But you know, you look at like an Empire Wizard or a Sorcerer, you know, Supreme thing that we just had a look at, loads cheaper. It does have access to 5 of the Laws of Magic. I mean, personally, I think you should access to all of them because it's a Slime Mage Priest. Yes. And it does have access to these spells, which can heal characters, which is okay. Yeah, which is okay. Like if you're behind like a guy like an old blood on a Carnosaur, for instance, Apotheosis could be useful. It's got a very long range, which is quite useful. Monsoon is weird because if you drench a unit, so basically it's a big mortar template that you pop down, moves around randomly as every other. It remains in play. It's 8+, so it's relatively easy to get rid of. However, when it moves over a shooting unit, it's -1 to hit for the rest of the game. Because it doesn't say anything about... Yes, it becomes drenched through the remainder of the game. So you can drench a war machine as well, so it fails to shoot on a 1. So it's situational. It depends what your opponent's got. It could be useful, but like realistically, probably not. You're probably going to take Apotheosis if you're going to take either of those 2 spells. Given that you're level 4, you only need to get an 8 to roll the mega heal, which is, you know, D3 + 1, which is rather than D3. So, you know, slightly better. I think the problem that you have with with Slime is that they are so expensive. They're a bit weird in that they can be they can be the general and the battle standard bearer at the same time. Why can they be the general and the battle standard bearer? Yeah, it says there, Slime Mage Priest may be both battle standard bearer and its general, which is interesting, to be honest, because it's leadership 9. It's a monstrous creature, so it's not a large. It is a large target, so you've got an 18-inch bubble for battle standard bearer and for general, which is pretty good. Which is possibly where the points are being allocated, but it's not a massively good wizard. But Ethereal is pretty good. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to think about them, to be honest. Like, I know you've got to take one. I don't know whether they're good or okay. There's a chap called Robbie who I keep talking to. Do you know what? I'll text him. I'm just going to text him while I'm doing this video. Mage Priest, B tier or C tier? Or C tier? You decide. I don't know. Hopefully he'll respond by the end of this video. I'm going to leave that one open. Right, Skink, because I don't know. I think it's one of those 2, but I'm not sure. Skink Priest is okay. It's a level 2 wizard for 90 points, or level 1 for 60. But why would you? It can go on some pretty decent mounts, so you can put it on a Stegodon, which is pretty good. It also has this Arcane Vassal rule, which obviously they haven't put there, they've put somewhere else. Which means, essentially, the Slime Mage Priest can cast their spells from 12 inches of the Skink Priest, which, you know, again, is pretty useful. So you could hypothetically put it on like a Stegodon and have the Slime Mage Priest within 12 inches of the Stegodon, and then that means that the spell range for the Slime Mage Priest is extended. And, you know, the Stegodon's not a waste of points because they're very good on their own. So, you know, I think they're good. I think they're good because but they only really get the benefits if you've got a slant at the same time, and it depends on whether a slant's any good or not. So I think they're good. I think they're better than okay. They're better than the Grey Seer, weirdly. because they're, because you can have 2 of them for the price of 1 of them. Now, granted, the Grey Seer will probably put down the magic of 2 of them. However, 2 of them can be in different places and therefore outside of the dispel range of the Grey Seer. Are they better than Grey Seers? Actually, no, I've said that because they can't be level 4. Is a level 4 automatically better than a level 2? If I say that as a rule, then everything here becomes level 2 down, level 4 up, right? I don't think I want to say that. I think I want a bit of relativism. Okay, so let's get rid of Lizardmen. Demons. Now, 3 demons I think I've put in this list. Slaanesh, Tzeentch and Nurgle, because they've all got potential combat roles and potential support roles. Now, we'll just quickly zip through the stat lines of them. How are we doing for time? Oh my goodness, 50 minutes already and I'm hardly halfway there. This is going to be a long one. So we've got Demonic Herald of Khorne, which is... you can see there, strength 5, strength 6 on the charge, decent weapon skill, pretty competent in combat, can put on a juggernaut, that's pretty good. We're not even looking at them, I'm wasting time. Their combat. Herald of Nurgle, toughness 5, level 2 wizard, costs 155 points, that's quite expensive. You can put it on a palanquin, which gives it an extra 4 wounds, so it goes up to 6 wounds. Doesn't do anything about the but it does give you poison. It's already got poison attacks. To do anything else, no. But it, for an extra 40 points for an extra 4 wounds, like, why wouldn't you? It does make it monstrous cav, but you're probably going to take quite a bit of monstrous cav in a Nurgle list anyway. I mean, plague drones are fantastic, so the stat lines are pretty good there. The Herald of Slaanesh, again, it's got high initiative, decent amount of attacks. It's, again, 145 points for a level 2 wizard, but it is movement 6 and has got, some pretty cool stuff. And the Tzeentch one is, where is it? Herald of Tzeentch has a really poor stat line. Can be a level 3 wizard, so 150 points for an extra level, which is pretty useful. Gets +1 to cast because that's the Tzeentch ability in this thing. So +1 to cast. Demons of Slaanesh have +1 to charge or pursuit. You can't put the Herald on a Steed of Slaanesh, can you? The spells are all they're okay. You can make a unit subject to stupidity, which is pretty good. This one uniquely cancels off enchantments. So if somebody's been enchanted with a thing that lasts until the next hero phase, Cacophonic Hymn just turns that off, which is pretty useful. Gift of Mutation is like a bit of a debuff. Plague Wind is like a template thing that's -1 toughness, which actually is pretty good because a lot of Nurgle stuff is low strength. But if you combine that like with a lot of Khorne stuff, which is all high strength, you could be like hitting on 2s and wounding on 2s for more or less your whole army. So there's a lot of synergies that you can do with like a multi-god list there. The cool thing about the characters, though, really, is the fact that you can turn one into an infernal enrapturous, which helps other characters with their casting, which is okay. You can turn them into Sloppity or Spoilpox, or no, those are the only 2. I thought the third one was there. What's the third herald for Nurgle? I thought there was 3 of them. Spoilpox, Bile Piper. No, maybe not. Which gives you a Demons of Nurgle +1 move, which is pretty useful because those flying heavy cavalry that I was talking about. Firstly, it puts him up to movement 5, which is okay, but also that kind of movement 9 swift stride, toughness 5, horrible flappy fly cavalry, which they're pretty good. They're now movement 10, so they've got like a maximum charge range of 19, which is really fast for something that's toughness 5 and has loads of wounds and regens and wards and stuff. So pretty useful. And reroll 1s to 35 points is quite a lot, but whatever. So you know, I think they're okay. Like they have significant drawbacks, not, mainly cost. They're very expensive for what they do, but the Nurgle one is okay. I think actually on reflection, the Slaanesh one is. Oh yeah, what's the Tzeentch? The Tzeentch, Tzeentch comes last, doesn't it? These gifts aren't great. Yeah, they're just not great. I guess you could go Power Vortex because if you make it level 3, then it's got a 24-inch -1 to cast, which is pretty useful actually, isn't it? I guess so. Yeah, that makes it okay. I think I was a bit mean before. They were okay. There we go. Robbie says, I hope he doesn't mind. C tier, huge investment for an average caster. BSB. Also, yeah, that's a good point. But Battle Standard Bearer in general are really strong, but also makes him worth a ton of victory points, worth as much as Dragon when killed. Unplayable without TG as any magic missile. Tomb Guard, yeah, as any magic missile will destroy him. Yeah. Oh, okay. Cool. So Slime goes there. I think the Heralds are better. The Heralds are better. Like he's not the Slime isn't trash, but he's kind of you've got to take him, but he comes with significant drawbacks. Oh yeah, I think on my list I've taken a skink chief or something and put it on a Stegodon as the battle standard bearer, so I've got them separated out. I think that's how I've done it. I can't remember. Anyway, oh, that's a good point. Can you take a skink priest and sorry, I'm getting distracted. I've got quite a lot to get through still, but I'm getting distracted again. Anybody who's watched me a bit, this happens. Where's the stuff about battle standard bearer? It's skink. Oh no, it's just the combat stuff. That's annoying. That's a really good thing about Tomb Kings, because like in a mortuary cult you can have a level 2 wizard that's the BSB. Like a mortuary priest can be the battle standard bearer, which is just like, it's really, really good. And I think people underestimate how these little things add up to quite a lot, which is why mortuary cult are pretty much dominating the meta at the moment, apart from people with 3 million Pegasus Knights. Those two things seem to be right at the top of the meta. Okay, so we've got, let's go through, the bad guys are my favourite, so we'll deal with them last. So, Dwarf Lords, we've got a couple of characters really to talk about. Dwarf Lords. Dwarf Kingdoms. What are they called? Dwarf Mountain Holds, that's it. Right. Anvil of Doom. Oh, this one's such a tough one. Because, again, it's one of those things that's kind of an auto-include, but it's got significant drawbacks. I think it's better than okay though, because like it's got toughness 7, it's got a 5 wounds, it's got 4 up save, it's got a 5 at ward, so it's pretty difficult to kill. It's actually not terrible in combat. Pardon me. Having Gromwell weapons and Gromwell armor. Gromwell weapons allow you to reroll. No, they give you AP1, and Gromwell armor allows you to reroll something. Or does it give you a thing against AP1? Yeah, and Gromwell armor is... it was reroll 1. I thought it was. Which is, you know, it's pretty difficult to... It's pretty tanky for a support character. It casts things as, like, bound spells, and they're all really good. So it can cast all of them. Like, it's not like the Casket of Souls, which is limited. I'm talking myself into this being good, to be honest. They're all bound spell power level 3, which, you know, is okay. Rune of... that's the only 2 tier 1. Rune of Oath and Steel is brilliant because it's like +1 to your armor save to a maximum of 2 up. And reroll failed. So it's reroll failed armor saves, basically, or reroll failed armor saves and +1 to your... Which is just absolutely fantastic. Like Iron Breakers with 2 up rerolling is just... disgusting, and that's what that does for you. You only need an 8 to get the sort of the enhanced effect. You don't have to declare which one you're going to go for beforehand, So, 24-inch range is massive anyway. The thing can't move, so that matters. But our own dwarves can't move, let's be honest. So, they're going to be pretty static. Rune of Hearth and Home gives everybody immune to psychology within 21 inches, which is great because it's on quite a big base already. Rune of Haste and Urgency is essentially you can make a unit move again, so you can get your dwarf units to march twice, which, again, 24-inch range is pretty decent. So, especially with some of these drilled units, you can do like a marching column and then get out of that and go into a normal march and prepare for to receive a charge. So that allows you a lot of flexibility in terms of moving around your like defensive combat unit to make sure that it gets to where it needs to be. So that it forces your opponent to charge the things that you want to get charged. And Rune of Wrath and Ruin is 2d6 strength 4 hits with AP2 with 27-inch range, so that's really good as well. So all of this is good, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's good, and you can give it runes, so you can make it a lot better. It's got magic resistance 3 as well. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Is it very good? I don't know. I'm gonna have to strike the runes. Can cast the following bound spells. Yeah. It can't be moved, but it not moving isn't. I thought that was a massive problem, but actually, it's not really, is it? And you can give it weapon runes as well if you wanted to make it like a lot better in combat. Yeah, so you could give it Rune of Parrying, so it's -1 to hit as well. That's nice. Yeah, immune to killing blow and multiple wounds. That would be really useful because I think it does count as infantry, doesn't it? Or does it count as a war machine? What does it count as? It's not on that page. It's a war machine, so it's immune to killing blow as well. So you don't need that. But yeah, I mean, there's lots of decent runes that you can give it that make it a lot better. I think it's actually very good. Yeah, I think I've underestimated it. Oh, I've got Thoric Ironbrow, haven't I, I think? Or the old model for Thoric Ironbrow. I thought I had. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I think it goes there, actually. It's very good. Very good. I mean, in terms of getting its points back, yeah, I think it will, actually, in terms of keeping stuff alive and doing some damage with that. Like, being able to do 2d6 strength 4 AP2 hits every single turn. Like, it's going to be in combat sometimes, but still. Pity you can't give it banner runes to give it. Anyway, I'm thinking about lists now rather than going through talking about these guys. So Anvil of Doom, I'm going to give very good. That's probably controversial, but whatever. Comment down below. Runesmiths. These have this ability called Forge Fire, which gives Armorbane 2 and flaming attacks to the unit is joined, which is great. Itself, they've got Armorbane 1. They are allowed to dispel stuff, I think. I don't know where the rules are for that. I'm pretty sure Rune Law. Where's that? That'll be at the end. I think the cheaper one is like a level 1. The expensive one is like a level 2. And the Anvil is like a level 3 in terms of dispelling, I think. Oh no, I'm an idiot. I've gone right to the end of the thing rather than right to the end of the dwarves, which is about here. Yes, I was correct. Yeah. So they can attempt to dispel. Like the little mobile ones are essentially lower level, so they're not so good at that. Forge Fire is okay. They can take runes. You can make them quite good. They're okay in combat. They've got heavy armor. You can give them full plate. So they're a viable alternative. They can give them an Oath Stone as well. So they are a viable alternative to a Dwarf Lord because Dwarf Lord's 60 points with Oath Stone, like 75. You could take a Runesmith. Oh no, they're way more expensive, aren't they? To give them that effect. The Dwarf Lord is a lot better in terms of buffing. So they're not very good, really, are they, on balance? They're distinctly average. Are they trash? I'm tempted to put them in trash, to be honest. They're better than Skaven. I can't let a dwarf go behind a Skaven. Okay, I'll go in the book of grudges. Know about that. Right. Nearly made a really inappropriate comment then. Dwarf engineers 50 points. just caught myself. Dwarf engineers 50 points. What do I think to them? Where's the artillery? There it is. Artillery master. Unless it's character blah blah blah. It can re-roll a single artillery dice, so it's got the generic kind of artillery style ability. I think the Empire Engineer's ability is slightly better in terms of like the reliability stuff, because the Empire Engineer, you can use their ballistic skill. So for like a Hellblaster, you can make a Hellblaster ballistic skill 4, which is really, really good. I mean, making an organ gun ballistic skill 5 would be broken, absolutely. So I see why they haven't, but still, it's pretty good. Entrenchment is very good because the war machine's behind partial cover and defending a low linear obstacle. That's just great for putting like an organ gun towards the front, because it makes your opponent deal with it and it gives you a little bit of extra range, and you don't mind it getting charged. Because, you know, it's -1 to hit for shooting. They're toughness like 6 or 7 anyway, so they're not really going to be the target of like small arms fire. You might not want to do that if there's a lot of cannons. And also it's got this like you can't be targeted while you're within 3 inches of a war machine, so you can stand in front of it and still, so it's not like the normal 3 inches, so that's very good as well. 50 points, I think they're definitely worthwhile. I think they're good. They have a lot of cool stuff about them. They've got dwarf crafted as well. So if you give them like a handgun, for instance, then it can, he can, she can, whatever can stand and shoot with no penalty, which again is pretty good. And I think entrenchment and artillery master, they're pretty good abilities. So I think, I don't know, dwarf engineer, I think I'm going to put as good. They would be S tier if you could do the ballistic skill thing, because like I said, ballistic skill 5 organ guns would be absolutely horrendous. Or ballistic skill 5 grudge throwers. Grudge throwers are apparently very good, but we haven't seen the book yet because Games Workshop have been focusing on Age of Sigmar, as could be expected, because it's their latest shiny thing, isn't it? And Square Bases have seemingly... We've not had an update for anything for Square Bases since about March, I think, which is pretty crap. Sort yourselves out, Games Workshop. I want more Square-based content, please, to talk about. And to buy. Anyway. Engineers. Was that it for Dwarves? I think that was it for Dwarves, wasn't it? Runesmith, Anvil of Doom, Engineer. Yes. Empire. There's 2 characters in the Empire roster, which... Oh, no, there's not. There's the Warrior Priest as well, isn't there? So there's 4. Because there's 2 different types of Warrior Priest now. Can anybody with a better memory than me remember whether Warrior Priests... I thought it used to be Warrior Priests and then the prayers were the same. I don't know. Were they always 2 separate ones, or was that an 8th thing? Or... Because I can't remember that being a thing in 6th. I thought it was just a warrior priest, and you know, you decided, because like some people wanted like a warrior priest of like Valea or Shalia or the other sort of gods that the old tribes of the Unberogan worshipped. Anyway, right, Wizard Lord, these are possibly S tier because they're so goddamn cheap. 160 points for a level 4 wizard is ridiculously cheap. They're allowed like 6 of the laws of magic. The only law of magic that they can't take is war magic. And, you know, so they've got more flexibility in terms of the magic laws that they can choose than a Slan, right? The ancient masters of magic have less choice than... Absolutely unbelievable. Anyway, yeah, they're very cheap, and that's it. They're very cheap. They can pick from any spell law, which gives you a lot of flexibility in terms of building your list. I think they're very good. I'm not sure that they're S tier. They're not quite that good, but they are definitely A tier because of the price and the flexibility. They're absolutely brilliant. And you know, I've got that little box set somewhere that I need to build up and paint. So that's going to be the core of my Empire army. Whatever, it's going to be magic and stuff. I don't. But like it then has to kind of be infantry heavy, which is a bit rubbish at the moment. But I don't quite know. I haven't figured out how I'm going to write that list yet. But anyway, wizards, good wizards. Then not them. They're definitely combat. Witch hunters are definitely combat. Warrior priests. Now you might question actually because these abilities are okay, but no, they're not. No, you want them. They're not very good. Anyway, warrior priests. You can have of Sigmar. We'll talk about Sigmar's priests. So you can take a lector, which means you can put a lector on a war wagony sort of thing. What are they called? Mobile prayer and tithing device. They've got a decentish leadership. They've got a decentish stat line. They're not that expensive, really overall. You can give them heavy armor, shield, great weapon. These are the usual choices, and they can pick one of the 3 prayers. They can only pray for one of these effects. They take a leadership test, and the leadership isn't terrible. It's not super reliable though, and they have to use their own leadership, so they can't use like inspiring presence from a general. But anyway, unit within command range. Like, of course, you've got to tell your opponent which unit is affected. Like, what? Oh God, these notes. Like, who's actually somebody's asked that of play testing, and so they've had to put that in. Like, really. Anyway, reroll hits of and wound rolls of 1 is pretty good. Shield of Faith 5 at ward is excellent. Soulfire is pretty rubbish. But these 2 are pretty good. Yeah, I think you kind of do take one, don't you? Because that could be, but yeah, they're good. They're good. They've got like a 50-50 chance of that thing going off and then it actually doing something useful, I guess. And they have got like magic resistance, and they have magical attacks as well, which could be useful. But yeah, are they good or are they okay? I think if their leadership was better, then they'd be good. I mean, Shield of Faith is very good. Like, just being able to pop up a 5 at ward save with, like, in an almost unrestricted manner, that's very good, but it's not very reliable. So, yeah, that's why I think they're good. Warrior Priests of Ulrich are a different story because D3 to your charge roll, but not to your charge range. So you still only got max 9, which is meh, makes you a bit more reliable. Everything else is more or less the same, right? And they can't go on a battle wagon-y sort of thing. Winter's Chill, reroll any, so it basically gives it the mark of Nurgle, which on paper is really good, but having used Nurgle mark units a lot, it's not as good as you think. And Wrath of Winter, giving your, it has to be in the unit. Yeah, so Winter's Chill and these, so it has to stay in the unit, so it has to like get into combat. I guess you can try. Can you do that with that? Yeah, so you can pray when you're in combat as well. So Wrath of Winter could be really useful, but like they're nowhere near as good as the Sigmarite spells. They're okay, I guess. They have an effect, they have an impact, but it's not likely to be great, and they're probably not going to get the points back. But there's an outside chance they might, if you're in a unit of knights, of inner circle knights with this thing, and then they're charging into like a unit of trolls, and you give them multiple wounds too. That could be very impactful, but like Not yeah, not great. And I think that's it for Empire, is it not? Is it? Is it not? Is it? Yes, it is. So the problem with doing these really long videos is your voice starts to go, and you need to keep clearing your throat. Right, let's do Bretonnia. Animators with a lady. 165 points for a level 4 wizard, again, which is very, very cheap. Slightly more restricted in terms of laws of magic. So, yeah. They do, however, have... so any unit this character's joined gets magical attacks, which is a pretty decent buff. The Shield of the Lady... essentially, if they're in combat, they can hide but still have an impact. They may cast spells if they're in the fighting rank, so assailments, they can basically not be in base contact and still just keep popping them off. So, pretty good in terms of that. And they also have the Law of the Lady, which is absolutely fantastic for an army with loads and loads of knights. So, for instance, remains in play, +1 strength, better AP is great. Lady's Gift, regen 6 or 5 up is fantastic, considering that you've got a ward of 6/5 up already. So combining like a 3 up armor save with probably a 5 up ward and a 5 up regen, you could quite happily chuck your Knights Errant with the Lady's Gift and the Lady's Wrath, onto that in a second, into like a dragon, and they'd probably do okay like overall, because you know, even your Knights Errant with their piddly number of attacks, you know, if you had 10 of them, that's like, you know, 8 attacks hitting on 4s. They're now strength 6, so wounding on 4s, AP 3 could be quite useful. And then when the dragon swings back, like, yeah, you're going to be saving on 5s or 6s most of the time, but you've then got a 5 up ward and a 5 up regen. So like 5 up, 5 up, 5 up, that adds up to 2, what is that? 227ths actually get through. So in terms of like the dragon's attacks back, they're very survivable. So is that right? No, it's not. No, it's 6/27ths, isn't it? Yeah, that's correct. So 6/27ths. I did think that. No, hold on. 2/3 times 2/3 times 2/3 going through is 2, 4, 8, 8/27ths. Idiot. So it's basically 1 in 3 attacks actually get through. So, you know, the dragon might kill 2 back, and these might do 2, and then your unit of... I'm talking about the cheapest of the cheap. Knights Errant could possibly do a couple of wounds on a dragon. And then they've got the banner, the ranks, and so actually, really, really super effective. So I think I'm gonna put them up with the Empire. They are slightly more expensive and slightly less flexibility in terms of the spell laws that they're allowed, but they are super worth it. Because essentially their own law is very, very good. There she is. So I'm going to put her up there, A tier. Elise, she's not S tier. She's... Oh, that's a skink. Oh, Christ. Where did I get the skink from? I forgot where I put the skink. Skinks aren't very good. I did put them in good, didn't I? Where's Elise gone? She's not there. She's definitely there. She's... right, I'll just get you the rules for Elise. I really like Elise, and I'm going to... she's got the strength of being able to take 2 spells from the law of the lady. So she can take both of those spells. They're both remains in play, which is really, really super effective, because it means she's got probably a couple of turns to try and get them both off. And then you've got a unit with both of those spells that can just dominate a flank, because it's Bretonnian cavalry, right? They've already got movement 8. They can re-roll 1s on the charge. They've got swift stride, so that means they're re-rolling 1s on, you know, so it makes them super reliable. There's other stuff you can give them. Like you can give them a banner that gives them Vanguard. I think that's one of the ones in the Errantry Crusade. So you can just make them really, really super effective. And so that's when she's not in range of enemy wizards. But when she is in range of enemy wizards, when she's trying to dispel, if she rolls a double, right? If she rolls a double, so she gets +1 to dispel. So she's dispelling like a level 4 wizard anyway. She gives the unit magic resistance 2. She's got this Ariandia monstrous mount. Which you can put in a lance now. They've said you just have to shuffle stuff around. And she automatically dispels if she rolls a double. Right? So that's obviously double 6. But essentially she's got like an extra... what would that be? 1 in 9 chance, more or less. Is that right? 36? 18? Yeah, 1 in 9 chance of... dispelling a spell regardless of whatever your opponent cast, which when you add up to a chance of dispelling, because that means she's really, really, really super good at dispelling. Chalice of Brionne is great because it means that stuff within 8 inches of her models command range, not the unit. They're -2 leadership when they're trying to do something that requires them to make a leadership test. I don't think that applies to break tests because elsewhere break tests aren't leadership tests, but still that's pretty good for stuff like panic. And so if you've smashed into something and broken that unit, there's a unit potentially within 8 inches that you could now be panicking. She can obviously retreat to the back, so you can kind of move her around in the unit to make sure that you're going to be in range of the unit that you want to panic. And Staff of the Elements. This is disregard two of her randomly generated spells. So again, you're rolling 3 dice to get the one spell that you want out of the spell lord that she's allowed. She knows elementalism, so that's elementalism is Plague of Rust. So you're going for Plague of Rust, really, aren't you? So you can... Oh, my God, that would make... imagine that on a dragon as well. All of that. Yeah, so you'd have... you could have, like, Knights Errant essentially smashing into this dragon with effectively AP 5. Oh, my goodness. This theoretical dragon is getting a few holes in it. So yeah, I think they do all right there. They probably win. Yeah, I think that does need clarifying whether they did mean for it to be break test as well. I'm pretty certain rules as intended, not, but still, because because in order to take a break test, you do have to. Oh, do you have to take a leadership? Is it a lead? I don't know. I'll have to check further. I haven't got time at the moment. This video has gone on for an hour and 20 and I'm still hardly anywhere. But yeah, I think she's really good. I really like her. I've got her over there that I need to build. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. And the model is just... They've done her face like a female face in a model. Like, this has been my one criticism of Games... Well, I've had quite a few. But one of my main criticisms of Games Workshop for years and years and years is they make models of women... But they don't know how to do female faces. They haven't seemed to work out that female face structure is different to male face structure, right? So you need to do a different job. So, but she's the first model, I think, out of everything where they've actually sculpted a face that looks like a woman's face. It's brilliant. It's like, finally, they seem to have admitted that women are not just men with boobs. There's something else. But yeah, well done GW. Lovely model. Great. Okay. Oh, I forgot about Outcast Wizards. They're really good. They could only get to level 3, which is a bit of a problem. And when they roll on a miscast table, a wizard with this special rule must roll an extra d6 and discard the highest result. What that means in practice is, the implication of that is that essentially the lower value results on the miscast table are the sort of the blowy uppy sort of spells. So basically how it works is either the spell goes off and you get hurt, or the spell. Have I got this the wrong way around? No. The spell doesn't go off, definitely, because you've miscast. So either you get hurt and you can keep casting spells, or you don't get hurt but you can't cast spells. Those are, broadly speaking, the two results. So the latter is the higher level result. So these guys can keep casting, but they're probably going to get blown up. Not always. You could roll 3 high dice, but cool. I forgot about them. If I was gonna, I guess that's the only way of getting a level 3 wizard in the what are they called, the exiles list, because exiles can't take a prophetess. At least you can't take in exiles because she's a prophetess, so she like takes the spot of a prophetess, as it were. But yeah, she's definitely there. Right, let's crack on, because time is pressing. The reason I don't like doing massively long videos is that you kind of get people dropping off a bit after. So basically the way the algorithm works, and I'm spending time explaining this, but the way the algorithm works, it prioritizes videos where people have a longer percentage time watched. So typically people watch somewhere between like 10 to 20 minutes of my videos, at least. That's like the average watch time. So that means quite a few people watch like 4 or 5 minutes and then click on something else. And then quite a lot of people watch the whole thing. I can see the graphs, I can see the drop off. So to those guys who watch the whole thing, legend. Yeah, anyway. I was really uncomfortable saying that. I don't know why. But anyway, so if you have like a 2-hour video and it's the same like average watch time, as it were, then that will just get lowered down in the. So anyway, anybody who's like an hour and 20 minutes in really didn't need that explanation, Dan. That's an idiot thing to say. Anyway, so this is that's is that the only support things in this Handmaiden, Sergeant Arms? Yeah, it is, isn't it? So that's the only support one from Bretonnia. Wood Elves, on the other hand, have a couple, I think. So you got Wood Elf Mages, which are pretty much the same as High Mages. I think they go in the same spot. They're slightly better and worse at the same time. So they can have talismanic tattoos, so you can give them a 6 at ward, which is pretty useful. I mean, you can do that with magic items anyway. They're a little bit cheaper. I think they are 185. Let's have a look. 185. No, same cost. They've also got access to high magic, which is, I think, the best law of magic out of all of them. Like ethereal as a unit is just absolutely fantastic. You know, especially if you're like, yeah, the ethereal's really, really good in a unit. She can take some sprites, she can take some magic items as well. I say she, could be a he. They're normally she. The models are anyway. So you know, she's pretty good. She's got the lore of Athel Loren. So I think she's good at the moment. Is she A tier? I mean, tree singing's good because you can essentially make a wood, and a lot of the stuff in the wood elf list is like, if you're within X of a woodland terrain feature, you can do Y. So I think as a support character, she's good for wood elves, and I'm yeah. So I don't know. Everybody keeps saying I keep getting wood elves wrong. I'm going to make her A tier, actually, because I think she is, because of how she synergizes with the rest of the wood elf list. I don't think it's as simple as just saying that, you know, she's not got a reroll spell every turn like the high elf one. Yeah, but she can like make a wood in the middle of the table, which can just make your army better. So just up comes that wood, and then you're all gold. And she's got access to high magic, which is arguably the best spell lore. So, you know, that's pretty good. Okay, Law of Athelren, we've done that. There's another character that I wanted to talk about that was looking promising for a little bit, but then turned out to be absolute dog poop. Is this Waystalker? So model with this. So you need to take a Waystalker. So the first thing is it's a tax for taking Waywatchers. Now Waywatchers are pretty good. I quite like Waywatchers. The problem is that you will never see them on the tabletop, or you'll rarely see them on the tabletop, because you've got to take an 85-point character, right? That it basically has a bow, and if it gets into combat, it's going to die in 2 seconds, right? Like it could get killed by cannon crew, like relatively combat. So it's definitely not going to get in combat. And then what does it have? It has a bow. Yes, you can give it magic. Well, they're not even. These enchanted arrows don't give them magic attacks, weirdly, and they're enchanted, but they're not magic. What are they enchanted with then? Fart. Arcane bodkins. They surely. I mean, this is another thing. I think they forgot. I think they forgot to give these magical attacks, because arcane. So they have an arcane bodkin enchanted arrow that's not magical. It's like a magical arrow. Is it magical? Oh no. What? Anyway, because the point I'm making is that enchanted and arcane, they're both synonyms for magical. So it's like a magic arrow. Is it magic? No, it's definitely not magic with a capital M, just with little m. Anyway, whatever. So this rule, however, when you rules as written, it's been FAQ'd, but rules as written, this rule here, Hawk-Eyed Archer, allowed you to take a Ruby Ring of Ruin with a Waystalker and then use that to snipe at stuff in units, which was mega. Like you could use that to pop off. What is its job? Its job is to find a level 4 wizard in a unit and just keep shooting it to death. Yeah, and it can also target lone characters that are hiding behind units. So within units, it's less useful because you've got Lookout Sir. But if you've got a little goblin, for instance, that's hiding behind a unit because it doesn't want to get into combat, what the Waystalker also then does is it forces your opponent to stick their level 4s in units. Now, in terms of the overall meta, what you tend to find with level 4 wizards is they go on a big mount, so that's less relevant. Or, some people do still take little and hide them behind or whatever. But and it's strength 4. I think the bow is strength S. So, you've got a strength 4 thing with Armor Bane 1. And you could take Swift Shiver's Shards, which gives it multiple shots 2. And it's got ballistic skill, 7, I think, or 8? Where's it gone? 7. I mean, I'd want that to be 10, to be honest, or 8 or 9, really, because 7's good. So what does ballistic skill? So ballistic skill 5 means you're hitting on 2s, and then that first roll is modified. Ballistic skill 6 and above gives you a reroll, but that reroll value isn't modified. So ballistic skill 6 means if you miss your first shot, you get a reroll 6. Ballistic skill 7 means if you miss your first shot, you get a reroll on a 5. 8 is on a 4. So basically, if you miss with your modified shot, you always hit on at least a 5 or more with ballistic skill 7. That's why I think it should be 8, because 4 or more seems a bit more, I don't know, just seems a bit... 5 or more doesn't seem reliable enough. But anyway, yeah. I mean, I guess they're okay. I can't remember whether I put Treeman Ancients in combat heroes or not. Actually, I probably didn't. Probably forgot them. But anyway, as we go through the books, I'm going to correct this and revisit this and all the rest. So. So there will be more of these videos. This isn't the last. This is the last currently, but every time there's a book out, I'm going to go through the book and see where they fit and just move stuff around based on what's happening in tournaments and stuff. So there will be more of these. Okay, so Waystalkers, and that'll give me an opportunity to go through the list of stuff I missed as well. I might do another video on stuff I missed. Shut up, Dan. You're supposed to not be taking that much time. It's an hour and a half. Waystalkers. I think they're now trash, sadly. And I think the only reason you're going to take them is if people desperately want to take some Way Watchers. Now, we then really have to look at Way Watchers. I know this is a bit of a... are they worth paying an 85-point tax to get some bows that are weapon skill 5? They're not even strength 4. If they were strength 4, maybe. But they themselves don't have that sniper rule as well. So they're very, very good scouts. They're quite expensive, but they're very, very good scouts. If they had that rule as well, definitely be worthwhile. But they don't, so you're probably not going to see them unless people have got some models and they're really wedded to the idea of the Way Watcher. So I'm unfortunately, and I think they're trash. The one thing I do like is this warband, this like wood elfy warband that they brought out for whatever it was, Diachasm or whatever that little weird game was. Never played it myself. Apparently it's very good, but I never got around to it. Oh my god, I haven't done ogres either, have I? Oh, ogres will have to come last then. Right, so we've got high elves. There's 2 in the high elf book. There is the high elf mage. We've talked a bit about the high elf mage in contrast. I think they're A tier. Like, they're just absolutely brilliant. Being able to re-roll 1 spell a turn. You can stick it on a dragon. The dragons aren't that good. There may be even S tier. I might come back to that later when I do a bit of a wrap up. But yeah, high elves, very, 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 very good wizards, as you would expect. I think, maybe they are S tier. I think they are S tier, aren't they? They're not as good as sorceresses because the dragon's not as good. And I think that's the only reason why. That, I think, is one of the best... Yeah, that's the best support character in the game, definitely. Yeah. Right, cool. Sorry, when I say that, I mean the demon prophet thing for the Cursed Dwarfs. I forgot about these. Dragon mages. These are trash because they've got a rubbish dragon. They're toughness 5. They have... Yes, they've got full plate armor from that. Yes, they can have battle magic, and they can't even take high magic. You can make them a level 3 wizard for 305 points. Yes, it's a dragon with fly 10. I get it. That's pretty, But you can just take, like... The other option is a high elf mage, 155, 185 points, and then you can stick it on... bloody hell, where's the points? Page 174. You can stick it on... Where are we up to? 185. Gone past it. Gone too far. 185. So you can stick it on a... That's 185, 190, 220, 420, 420, 420, 420. So it's 420 points for a proper level 4 wizard on a decent dragon that makes it toughness 6 or 305. So you're saving 120 points for a rubbish wizard on a rubbish dragon. Like, what are you going to spend that 120 points on that's going to make up for that? Like, seriously, like, it's just not cheap enough. If they were like 220 points, you might see quite a lot of them. But they're just a bit too expensive for what they are. And they don't have like a really cool rule that makes them like worth taking. Like dragon mages. So essentially the lore behind them is really, really cool and really, really interesting. And the reason that dragon mages are not like other mages is because there is a massive, compelling lore reason to have dragon mages as separate for mages. It's all down here, but basically Caledonian kids who have an affinity with magic become dragon mages, which are a separate thing. But I'd want them to have like their own lore, like their own like signature spell that would make them pretty cool. Or, the Dragonfire's got magical attack. Or just something. Or it shoots lightning. I don't know. Just something. Something that makes them unique and interesting in terms of how the game works. Whereas at the moment, they're just a rubbish wizard on a rubbish dragon. So for that reason, they're going to have to go in D tier, I'm afraid. They're just trash. Right, moving on. We've also got the Handmaiden of the Everqueen, 65 points. If you like the sisters of whatever they're called, sisters of great bows, sisters of what are they called? Avalon. That's it. If you like the sisters of Avalon, this is really good because you can give your the unit on a leadership test at leadership 8, so not massively reliable, but still +1 to hit and wound. Which on sisters with their really good AP, their relatively low strength weapons, +1 to wound is basically like +1 strength, sort of. +1 to hit means they're hitting on 2s even if they've moved, and at long distance. I think they're ballistic skill 5 to begin with, aren't they? So you can make the sisters really, 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 really good. You can't put them on a mount, and you can only put them in normal elven infantry, but they in sisters they synergize just beautifully. And also, right, they have strikes first, like the sisters do as well. So they add a bit of combat punch to sisters to make them so much better. So I really like them. I think they're good. I think they're situational, though, and I think it's kind of 50-50 as to whether they're going to get their points back. So, yeah, I think they're good. Empire Engineers are... I forgot about Empire Engineers. We talked a bit about them. They're better than Dwarf Engineers. Dwarf Engineers... why have I put Dwarf Engineers in trash? I don't think I meant to. I'm going to put them there. They're the bottom end of the sea. They're okay. Yeah. Why did I put them in trash? Yeah, I don't know. Because they are useful because they get allowed to reroll artillery dice. I don't know. Past me, like an hour ago, made a terrible mistake there. They're they're probably top end of C really. Did I want to do that? Yeah, I did. Right. Oh God, where are we up to? That's it for them. Evils, bad guys. Oh, we're nearly there. Orcs. I'm going to upset everybody now. Orc Shamans are very good. Goblin Shamans are good. Night Goblin Shamans are okay. Why? Basically, they've all got access to Wild Magic, which is the second best law of magic. It is the best law of magic for orcs. Now, Goblin Shamans can go on a variety of mounts, which make them really useful. So you can take them in Nomadic War, for instance. So in Nomadic War, the Goblin Shamans become cheap, like 165 points for a level 4 wizard. You can take loads of them as well. Orc Weird Knobs, level 4, 170. You know, it's only 10 more points than an Empire one. And these guys are toughness 5. And you can stick them on a Wyvern, right? So even not on a Wyvern, they're great. On a Wyvern, they're even better. If you can give them +1 to cast if you stick them in a unit of Orc Boys. So if you stuck them on a boar and chucked them in a unit of Boar Boys, they'd be all right. They've also... I think they've got choppers, so they're no slouch in combat as well. So Orc Shaman, you know, very good. Very good. Not S tier, but still very good. With the Wild Magic, you can give stuff like +D3 to charge, range, and roll. So if you've got an Orc Weird Knob on a Wyvern in your Nomadic Horde, which has got, so you get +1 +D3, plus Vanguard move, plus blah, 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 blah. So, you know, you can really synergize them up and make them like you can make orcs really, really super powerful. Low leadership is a bit of a problem, but, you know, they don't have impetuous or whatever. So they're really good. Night Goblin Wizards, I know people really like them. I'm sorry, I'm going to upset everybody, but 160 points? Yeah, 160 points makes them the same cost as like an Empire level 4. They do have toughness 4, which is quite interesting. They are allowed illusion or Wild Magic. The problem is that they don't have mounts, so you got to stick them in units or have them lying around, and that's a significant problem. You know, especially like it's just a bit of a problem having like lone characters. So you're essentially handing out 200 victory points because somebody's going to get them. Like, there's plenty of like wizard hunters and, you know, whatever. And if you stick them in like units of night goblins, they're probably going to die at some point when your fanatics finally, you know, wrap their chains around themselves, and arguably they're not going to get their points back. So, you know, night goblins go there, goblins go there because you can stick them on a chariot, or, you know, you can stick them on a spider if you want. And orcs definitely go A tier. Right. So that's everybody nice and upset. Or maybe orc players all agree with me, although I doubt it because everybody keeps thinking I'm underestimating goblins. I think the general commentary around like goblins is that you've got to do a lot to make them worth, like, you've got to do a lot to them. There's a lot of ifs in terms of making them good. I forgot to turn the mic off again. Sorcerer Lord, toughness 4, many wounds, comes with heavy armour, it's got a 5-up ward inbuilt, like, it's got ensorcelled weapons, so it's magical attacks, AP 1. That's all just basic. Now, it is 225 points for a level 4, which is very expensive. You can take marks, which make them slightly better. The law spell for Tzeentch is very good. D6 plus 3, strength 4, AP 2 hits. Magic missile 18 inches is very good. The Nurgle spell remains in play plus 1 toughness, which is pretty good as well. The Slanesh one I think is not worth talking about. The Undivided, yeah, it's strike last, but it's 12-inch range, so, you know, whatever. The Undivided, actually that could be quite good. The Undivided one I think is quite useful. -1 move. Or if you cast on a 9 or more, which you probably are, then it's -2 move. So that can really stuff your opponents. Like, they've lined up for a charge, and then you're like, no, I'm just going to take some move off you. That could be pretty useful. So I think in terms of where they are in the overall Chaos Pantheon, you know, it's at 315 points for a level 4 Demon Prince. It's 225 for level 4 Sorcerer Lord. You're probably going to take the Sorcerer Lord unless you're taking a Demon Princey sort of army. So yeah, they're pretty good. I did originally put them in A tier, didn't I? I think B tier overall. If I was a Chaos player, I'd definitely prefer any one of those over that. Yeah. Would I? Is that true? Yeah, I would prefer some cheap rubbish wizards. They're not rubbish, but average wizards for, you know, because I could afford more chosen then. Cool, so that's Chaos. There's only one support character. I think there's only one for Beastmen as well, isn't there? Beastmen, Shamans. Now, they're good because they've got this thing called the Hag Tree Fetish, and that's the only reason they're good. They're very good. What that means is that allows them to re-roll wound rolls on magic missiles, and if you look at the Law of Beasts, there's this magic missile called Viletide, which is easy to cast. 5d6 strength 1 hits, no armor save. So chuck that at a dragon, you do 5d6 hits. That's probably going to net you off like 17, 18 hits. That's going to net you like the equivalent of 5 mortal wounds on average. That's just on average, so you could spike it and get more. That's more or less enough to kill a giant with one spell. One cast roll, one spell, more or less enough to kill a giant. Like, that's amazing. But, you know, again, 15-inch range, you've got to actually get in range, and, you know. So there's a chance it might not get it, but it's very likely to get its points back. Really, really good. Right, and then, finally, Tomb Kings. We've got the other ones I've done. Royal Heralds are 60 points. Really, really super cheap Battle Standard Bearer. Again, they allow you to reroll leadership tests and reduced number of wounds. And you can transfer wounds from a Monarch onto your Royal Herald if you automatically, if you wish. They've got regen 5-up, which is pretty good. Yeah, they're just pretty good, very cheap Battle Standard Bearers. So I think they're going good. Necrotechs, again, pretty similar. Like, they've got, the vulnerability is like if they get into combat, people can pick them off because they're only toughness 4 with 2 wounds light armor. Regen 5's good, but it's not enough to keep them alive against, especially you've got 2 models in base contact, like directing attacks. They're, you know, can be quite challenging. Where's the Necrotect? Oh, let's do the Leash Priest. Leash Priest again. It's got a rise. They're not as good as Necromancers because they can only like double up on this once per game rather than twice a turn. And they don't have the same kind of Necromancy. Doesn't have the same cachet with the Tomb Kings as it does within Vampire counts because you haven't got access to 3 million Wailing Dirges. So they're not as good as Necromancers. I think they fit there, to be honest. I think they're like at the top end of good. Yeah, they're definitely at the bottom end. They're kind of somewhere in the middle, about that. And then the Necrotect leadership, it's basically like Frenzy, but not. Because you get the extra attack and you get Hatred everybody. You know, which is really useful. The downside is that they have to go on foot. You can't put them on like a chariot, which would make them amazing if you could put them on, like if you could put that in the unit in chariots. Oh my god. Yeah, but I've remembered twice today. So yeah, it's Eternal, and you know, just for 55 points, just to make a unit so much better, like why wouldn't you? And the other thing is, like, especially if you've got skeletons, having like 2 attacks in the first rank and then 1 attack in the second, you know, that's a lot of attacks you're pumping out, especially if you give it the magic item that gives that unit poisoned attacks. You know, just saying, there's an option there to like pump out loads and loads of attacks and hope for those 6s to hit. It's a weird outfit. Right, Necrotect. Okay, so the only one I haven't done is Ogres for some reason. I didn't open the book. So let's... I've obviously saved the best till last. I love me some fat boys. I am one. Right. Slaughtermasters, just look at that for a stat line. Yes, 260 points for a level 4 wizard is a lot. However, it's got 5 wounds, it's got toughness 5. It does impact hits. You're probably going to give it a Butcher's Cauldron as well. Which is another, sorry, 265, so 295 points for all this cool stuff. Butcher's Cauldron gives you D3 plus 1 impact hits, and also you can give yourself regen if you pass a leadership. If you fail, you take a wound, which is a bit annoying. Does impact hits D3 plus 1. It's got the Ogre Charge rule, so it's not got the Bull Charge rule. So the AP of the impact hits is equivalent to the current rank bonus of the unit it's in, but still, it's got a decent chunk of impact hits. It's again level 4. Its spell is which one's the one? Troll Guts is great because you can cast a regen 5 up on another ogre unit as well as the unit that it's in. So you know it's pretty useful. So you can have this particular wizard in your big block of, you know, infantry, and then you can Troll Guts like one of your Mournfang Cav and send them off against a dragon, which they'll do pretty well at. Or you can add like modifiers to toughness so only until the end of the turn, so that's less good. Yeah, that's until the next start of turn subphase. So I think I originally gave them like 80, didn't I? I think they're good actually. I think they are quite expensive, but they are good. They go here. Yeah, I think it's on par with that lass. Yeah, sort of similar role really. Then Hunters as a support character. I don't know why I didn't put them as a combat character. Well, I guess they kind of just shoot really, don't they? They've got lots of cool stuff. They can get Swift Stride with Saber Tusks. They knock off Impetuous from Saber Tusks, which makes the Saber Tusk unit quite a lot more useful. You can give them a big name, which is there's quite a lot of interesting little benefits that you can do with that. They are loners, so you can stick them in with Saber Tusks as well. So again, they're okay. I don't think you're going to see them very often because Saber Tusks aren't great, but they are okay as a unit. Yeah, and then Firebellies, the last unit. My voice is about to go. Oh, that was a grunt. Firebellies, 110 points. How weird. 110 points for a level 1 wizard, 145 points. Now again, it's an ogre wizard, so it's got loads of wounds, it's got plenty of toughness, so it's pretty a bit more resilient than your average level 2 wizard, but still only a level 2 wizard. Has a 4 up ward against flaming attacks and has a breath weapon that's a flaming attack, strength 4 AP1. I mean, I guess it's okay. Like, no, it's not as trash, isn't it? Like, yeah, because it can't take armor because it's a wizard, and the blessings of the volcano god are just, not good. Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's not very good. It's not good at all, really. Which is a shame because the model's cool, but I always wondered why they made that model. Like, because it's cool, but it doesn't fit in with anything else in the ogre like thing. Like, it's a really senseless model, but cool. But anyway, so that's let's do some final thoughts. How long is this video? How well have I done? I've done, oh geez, nearly 2 hours. Okay, I knew this was going to be a long one because there are a lot of support characters, but I just wanted to finish this off. I'm probably going to reserve going through this again and like rebalancing the tiers a little bit till I till we get the dwarfs, because hopefully there's some named characters that we can add to this. Hopefully we get a cool engineer that we can go in here and maybe make a bit better. Hopefully the named engineer is better than this one. But what's worrying me is every time you get a character like wizard, they're always level 3, they're never level 4, which to me is a bit kind of, that's a bit weird. They have things that make them almost a level 4, but still it's a bit jarring not to have. But I guess, yeah, I'm pretty happy with this though. Yeah, I think the anvil is up there. I really want to make the Tzeentch Herald trash, but it's about as good as the other 3, so they'd all have to be trash or none of them. The Slan, yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. The Hunter might be trash. He might be good, but he's definitely okay. Yeah, he's definitely okay. He's not trash, is he? No. That Firebelly, I'm not sure about that. I'm really uncomfortable putting a dragon in trash, but, like I said, it's a very expensive... No, it's not. It's a very bad wizard on a very bad dragon, and I really wish they'd done something to make it unique. The Waystalker, I think that's the model whose rules I'm most disappointed about out of all of these. Like, I wish it was so much better. Like, I've said this over and over again about Skaven. I absolutely loved myself a Ratman, and I'm really disappointed with how all the rules are written. But the Waystalker, I don't know, it just feels like it should be able to do... It feels like it should be like a Vindicar assassin, but in the world of fantasy. Do you know what I mean? And it's just not. And it's just... I'm maybe down on it. Maybe it's okay. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a bit too down on it because I want it to be so much better. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Cool. Right, so just before we hit 2 hours, I'm going to say, if you've liked the video, there's a button for that. If you haven't, there's a button for that. Although if you've got to 2 hours and you haven't liked the video, you should be questioning your life choices. And also, if you've got this far in and you've not subscribed already, it might be worth it. I don't know. I mean, it would. I'm not sure whether it really helps me out, to be honest. Everybody says this, and I'm not sure how it helps. But anyway, I suppose it helps more people to find the content, doesn't it? Because the algorithm likes channels where the subscribers base is building. So it like over promotes stuff where there's more and more subscribers, I think. So yeah, cool. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up now and go to what am I going to do? What's the time? Half two. I best do some actual work. It's been a long lunch recording a video. Anyway, toodaloo.